Oftentimes when we're embarking upon a quest for health and personal development, it's common that we can lapse into sort of very judgmental and rigid and inflexible ways of seeing ourselves and of seeing others. And this is obviously a major hindrance, because if we're seeing ourselves and seeing the world in such a rigid, judgmental, and inflexible way, that's just facilitating and precipitating and creating more stagnation, blockage, and fixation, which are the exact opposite of health and of true growth and transformation. But there's a couple of things that we can understand and apply and identify, and thus break through these rigid and inflexible ways of seeing ourselves and of seeing the world. Number one is to realize that most of the time the term health, the concept of health, is vaguely defined, if at all defined. And that's really important because you can't hit a target that you can't see. And if you want to learn more about that, look up some of the other videos that I've done where I actually give you specific criteria and specific ways to actually measure health. And this is something that really no one, or rarely anyone, ever does, because even people who are selling, health products or health strategies and programs, they don't actually define, okay, here's what we're looking for, here's what you can notice, here's how you can measure it. And this is important because, if we don't know, number one, what we're trying to achieve specifically, then we can't always achieve and realize the most optimal and quickest and easiest and most effective way to achieve that. Thus, we can easily waste a lot of our own energy, time, and resources. So number two, we need to understand that health is an extremely relative thing, and that it's going to mean something different to everybody. And what I mean by that is, if you're 21 years old and already, pretty fit and taking pretty good care of yourself, achieving a greater degree and a higher level of health is going to mean something completely different than someone who's 55 and might have some sort of disease or illness, or might have diabetes, or might be 100 pounds overweight. Health to them is going to be something completely different. So if you're someone who's been very sedentary your whole life, health might just mean, okay, I'm gonna get up and I'm gonna exercise and walk 15, 20, 30 minutes a day. But let's say you're someone who's already been working out. If you just go to walking 15, 20 minutes a day, you're going to feel like, I'm not even doing anything. I'm hardly even moving. Like, this is so lazy. Why am I doing this? So we have to realize and understand that each person is really on their own path and on their own journey. Thus, we can't always apply such rigid and inflexible, judgmental ways of seeing ourselves and seeing other people. Whether that's what we're looking at as a teacher or an authority or someone else in our community, we have to realize that we're each sort of on our own path, and that health and what health means to each of us is something entirely different. And number three, we need to realize that wherever we're at, we're always in the middle. And no matter where we're at, there's always a higher level to go. There's always a greater place to transform and move into. So for example, if you're a millionaire, there's people who are billionaires. Even if you're a billionaire, there's people who have more billions. Even if you only have $500, there's people who have absolutely nothing. Even if you have a bank account with $20 in it, there's people who don't even have a bank account. They don't even have absolutely anything. Or even worse, maybe they're $500,000 in the hole, or massively in the hole, and have all of this debt. Likewise, let's say your goal is, I'm trying to lose 20 pounds. Well, compared to someone who's trying to lose 200 or 150 pounds, 20 pounds is a breeze. And then compared to someone else who's maybe a little bit underweight, who's trying to put on 15 or 20 pounds, it's a totally different thing. And realize that wherever we're at, there's always a higher level, there's always more room for growth and transformation. And then if we get stuck and fixated and stagnated in one place, that's actually, again, the opposite of health, the opposite of growth and transformation, thus not really getting us to where we want to go and allowing us to achieve what we want to achieve. So again, those are three important things to keep in mind, which can easily help us to break through and dissolve the stagnation and the blockages that we might have within, seeing ourselves, in a personal development level and a health level, as well as seeing other people in our field and in the community. So hopefully that's been helpful. It's something which has been particularly relevant and helpful for me as far as working with a lot of people, seeing a lot of different things, and just seeing that these three things and these threads are really incredibly helpful and can give us a lot of assistance for, again, creating more room for expansion and growth, which is again what health and personal development is actually all about. So if you have any questions or comments, post them below, and I'll talk to you soon.